Okay, hi guys, and welcome to the show. And today I'm going to be discussing this absolutely stunning, pure class offering from Hamilton. A bit of classic American design here. Now you're probably wondering, why the hell am I wearing a jacket and it's like almost 90 degrees here in New York? Well, it's in honor of this piece. I thought I'd show you what it looks like in a more dressy attire. Okay, so I didn't actually intend to buy the Hamilton outright. What happened was I saw a really fantastic deal on a used one and it was in mint, pristine condition, and it was just under $500. And I thought, why not? I always wanted to get my hands on one, and I thought this would be the perfect opportunity. They retail usually over the about $550, $600 mark, and when it was released in 2012, I think the retail price was about nearer $1,000. So for under $500, you're getting a really good quality, solid Swiss-made watch with a respectable ETA or ETA movement inside. I have quite a few dress watches now, so there's undoubtedly a few jewels are going to follow, and it'll be really interesting to see how this bad boy measures up against its competitors. Obviously, with this kind of styling, it references models that Hamilton used to do back in the 60s. Very classic American design. And I gotta say, I'm really impressed. I think for the price, you're getting a lot of bang per buck with this watch. One of the main advantages of buying this over, let's say, an actual real vintage piece is that you're not going to get the headaches that come with buying into vintage pieces. Sometimes, like I bought a vintage Seamaster last year, and I did have quite a few problems. It would stop, and it wasn't as robust. So by buying either a new one of these or finding a really good deal used on eBay, you're getting a brand new, well, you're getting a contemporary movement without the headaches of the older vintage pieces. And also, if you don't wear a dress watch that much and you don't want to spend thousands of dollars on a dress watch, then I think going for something very classic like this, even though it's classic in style, but is a modern offering, you're going to get a lot less headaches and a lot less risk of something going wrong. So far, the performance has been absolutely impeccable and what I expected from the ETA movement of this caliber. And I thought I'd wear the jacket to really show you, to give you an idea of how well it goes with more formal attire. Alright guys, so let's take a closer look. Let's switch to the first person perspective and let's have a closer look at this watch, this fantastic watch from Hamilton, in closer detail. And today we're looking at the Hamilton Insta-matic. This, of course, is a Swiss-made automatic watch. Now, the first thing you'll notice is its absolutely gorgeous geometrical design, very kind of 60s, classic American aesthetics. So let's dive into the specifications. We'll start off with the actual size. This comes in two versions. This is the smaller 38mm version, and in my opinion it's much more elegant, and it does wear a lot bigger. I must admit, it feels a bit more like a 40mm. So as you can see, it is indeed 38mm in diameter. We have a thickness of, I would say, just under 10mm. We have a complete lug-to-lug width of, what is that? That's about 48, and then lug width of 20mm. Really nice proportioned, beautifully sized watch. It's very thin, obviously harking back to the classic Hamiltons from the 60s that this is obviously based on. This is really a kind of reissue, and they've spared no expense. They really have included all the details from their 60s watches, even from the older Hamilton logo, which is this really cool kind of 60s retro H there, and they've even included it on the crown if you just have a look there. So inside we have the ETA or ETA 2892-2, which is an outstanding movement, especially at this price. And they've done a really good job, if you can see, of decorating that roll to there. The actual movement itself is fairly plain, but still something worthy of looking at, in my opinion. And that rotor is just absolutely gorgeous. Just look at the really subtle but very well done engraving and different kind of polishings they've done. The actual case, of course, is completely all stainless steel and completely polished as well. There's no satinized parts whatsoever, and I really do like that. It captures the light beautifully. So the dial is a matted black. Of course, there is a silver dial which has this kind of sunburst effect. You know, there's a lot of reviews out there of those particular ones, and in my opinion, I wanted to get one that's slightly different. The black is a little bit even more kind of understated, but then with the addition of this bracelet, which we'll get onto in just a moment, which is one of the most beautiful bracelets I've ever owned. I have to be honest, and I have to say that off the bat. It's absolutely stunning. Quite complicated when you want to size it, because you know these are all individually linked, but the quality of the bracelet is fantastic, and it's probably one of my favorite features of this watch. So the style, as we've mentioned already, is very 60s based. You could see this on the set of Mad Men. It's extremely elegant. It harkens back to a kind of more sophisticated age where, let's be honest, dress watches were much more prevalent. The only difference being is this has been obviously updated with larger sizes. Nowadays, with all these huge monstrosities that everybody seems to have, it still is relatively small in comparison. In my opinion, the 38 that actually wears more like a 40, which is this one, in my opinion, the preferred choice over the 42mm version, which is the bigger one. I haven't actually seen the bigger one in person, but I can't imagine it would have the level of elegance, sophistication, understated class. I mean, let's just call it how it is. This is an extremely classy watch, and I think it being any larger would kind of undermine this beautiful design. So we have these really angular lugs, which it's kind of difficult to notice with the bracelet on, but this looks amazing on all kinds of straps. And the great thing about having a black dial like this, or even the silver dial, is that it's just so versatile, and this looks amazing with all kinds of different straps. I mean, imagine a bright orange ostrich strap, or something a little bit kind of with a color that really pops. It would look amazing, and considering its price, it definitely looks more expensive than it actually is. So looking at it at profile, it is extremely thin. This harkens back to that age where the kind of in thing to do was to make the watch as thin as possible. That was what was desirable back then. It's something that's lost these days. Everything is very big and heavy and chunky, and I think this kind of going back to the elegance and refinement of that age really is what essentially makes it such a classy piece. Of course, undoubtedly notice it's only two hands. You have the hour and the minute hand, and then a beautifully placed date window at the 6 o'clock position, keeping the design perfectly symmetrical. In fact, the only thing that breaks the symmetry is the italicized font of Hamilton and an automatic. You know, I'm really nitpicking now, but that's the only thing that breaks the symmetry. You hardly even notice it. You got these very simple stick markers going around the dial, almost kind of Bauhaus in design. The glass is sapphire glass, and it is domed, and sapphire, I believe, on the display back as well. There is a beautiful, if I just show you, there's a beautiful kind of very subtle curve. And what is interesting, I'm not sure if we will be able to see this, but the actual hands, the actual dial as well is domed as well. If I just put my hand like that, you can just about see the curvature of the dial. The hands are also curved, very, very subtle, but just in keeping with the design. And I think it's something that's just truly unique about this piece. So let's talk about this bracelet that I'm so keen on. As I said, it's a really quite intricately constructed bracelet with every single part, every little link is an individual piece, and it just plays with the light. So not only does it look amazing on this bracelet, but you know, if you want to change it up to a strap, it still looks just as elegant. But in my opinion, I really wanted to get it on this bracelet because it's a bracelet that really caught my attention, and I love how it moves. It just moves beautifully, and because of all these moving parts, it grips, or it fits the curvature of your like no other bracelet does. And in fact, I would go so far to say that this is one of the most beautiful bracelets that I've had the pleasure to experience. It really is a capo lavoro here. So the crown obviously is small and in keeping with its design, with the 60s styled H logo for Hamilton, which I think is absolutely fantastic and in keeping with the retro styling, obviously. On the back we have just very simple 4 screws and just some basic information. When you operate this watch, it winds beautifully. When you set the time or set the date, sorry, let me just get it in focus there. And when you're setting the date and the time on this piece, it really is, you feel the quality, and at this price, and it does feel very solid. It feels very well constructed. The finishing, the polishing is immaculately done. Another thing of the bracelet that I adore is this butterfly clasp, which is very simple to operate. You just push down and it releases. Very, very easy, very comfortable. So the total weight, normally I don't really mention the weight of watches, but I thought I'd mention it today because it's very nice and light, coming in at 50 grams. The bracelet does make it heavier, but on a strap it would weigh next to nothing. You probably wouldn't even notice it, which, you know, can be, some people don't actually like that because then they bash it into things and they forget they're wearing it. Okay, so price wise, these retailing now, the original price when it was released in 2012 was just under $1,000 at $995. These days you can pick them up new in various combinations of colors. There's a gold tone one, there's obviously the silver dial version just on the leather strap, and they all are priced at around about the $500 to $550 mark. If you're lucky, you'll find one on the used market for under that. I picked this one up at a really good deal, in immaculate condition, just absolutely stunning. I'm really pleased with this watch. It's so minimal, it's so classic. It's just gonna age very well, you know. It's just a very tasteful, refined and sophisticated look, and to be honest, I think women would look great with this on just as much as men. So my only complaint is, at first obviously I did miss the second hand, and you know, you get in a little bit of a panic because you're not sure that it's even running, but you just hold it up to your ear and you can hear it ticking away. The clasp obviously is signed. You got Hamilton there, just very subtle, and I really do like the attention to detail. The clasp is fantastically constructed, very solid. I really do like this clasp. I've noticed that Hamilton do very good clasps in general. So let's get a quick wrist shot in. Okay guys, so here we are with the wrist shot, and as you can see, even on my tiny wrist, it's still pretty big. I would have preferred it even a smidgen smaller, but that's only because I have extremely small wrists. But all the same, I think it's really comfortable. I absolutely adore this bracelet. Extremely smart. It is very sophisticated. What I love about the thin profile is that if you are wearing this with a suit or with a shirt, it just, you know, the collar of the shirt will glide over it perfectly. It won't get caught. It's definitely the ultimate dress watch. This is exactly what you'd want to wear if you had a nice you know, charcoal grey suit or a black suit, or even a kind of linen sports jacket for the summer. I think it would be a really good pairing. So I'm extremely pleased, I have to say, with this watch. Been a long time coming. I've always wanted to try out an Insta-matic, and I got to say, I'm not disappointed in the least. The whole thing together for its price is a really good deal. I mean, I've seen watches that cost into the thousands with basically the same movement. So you're getting a Swiss watch at a really affordable price that is a classic design that is going to look great for decades to come. Okay guys, so I'm going to leave it there. Let's take it back to the studio. Okay, welcome back guys. What I'd really like to hear from you guys is, what are your own recommendations for a Swiss-made watch below the $500 mark. Is there anything that can really compete with this fantastic Hamilton? Personally, I think it's a really strong offering, and I think the bracelet is highly overlooked. I recommend getting it with the bracelet because this bracelet is very elegant. It is quite, you know, flashy with the all polished finish, but I think with a tasteful, understated design like this on the main watch itself, I think it really works very, very well. I'm looking forward to trying this with different straps, and of course I'm going to be doing that in up and coming videos. Okay guys, so I'm going to leave it there. Please like this video if you found it useful and you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll definitely catch you in the next one. Okay guys, ciao.